Dr. Smith, physical therapist here. In this video, I'm going to break down travel physical therapy. So whether you're just getting started in travel or considering it, I'm hoping this video will give you a baseline and enough resources to make an informed decision regarding travel therapy. Now, before I get into that, please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that like button below, share this video if you find it helpful, and if you have any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns as the video moves along, please share them in the comment section below. So I was a traveler till the end of March 2020. The reason why my contract got cut and stopped there was due to COVID. Prior to being a traveler, I was a home health therapist and I researched the travel industry for about a year or so. The resources I used are extensive and I'll link them below, but I'm hoping this video can give you the basics of all the resources. But for full credit, the resources that I used were Jared and Whitney from the Travel Therapy Mentor group, the Healthcare Hustlers Facebook group, the New Grad Travel Therapy Facebook group, the Travel Therapy Therapist Facebook group, the Travel Therapy Job Opportunities Facebook group, and Travel Tax. I know that's extensive. I'll link everything below. Anything I don't answer in this video or that you need more specifics on, I recommend you reach out to any of those resources depending on what you're looking for. Now, when it comes to travel, there are two types of travel contracts. You can get a local travel contract or a travel contract. The reason why I don't recommend a local travel contract is you won't get your stipends, you'll get a high hourly rate that is taxed, and it's just not worth it compared to taking a travel contract as far as money is concerned. Now, when you take a travel contract, you'll qualify for tax-free stipends. What stipends may you qualify for? I'll break them down with my last pay package. So my last pay package, I was given a housing stipend of $670 a week, a meal stipend of $380 a week. I was also given $400 for traveling to my location, and I was reimbursed completely for anything related to getting my license in the new state. Also, I did take out insurance at my last contract. If you don't take out insurance, you'll get paid a bit more. I just took it out in my last contract to be safe in case anything happens to me. So, as I mentioned, there's two types of travel contracts, local and travel. Well, how do you know what you qualify for? It depends on your tax home. So a tax home is where you've lived and worked, and for tax purposes, from talking to travel tax, my understanding is that a tax home has to be within a 90-mile radius of any place that you have worked and paid taxes. It can be any job, but it can be anywhere that you've worked and paid taxes. So if you have a contract in that area, you are not going to qualify for the stipends, so make sure you pick a contract outside of that area. To make this video very streamlined and to the point, I'm just going to tell you my experience of picking up my last travel contract and every step involved in that process. So, as I stated, I was a home health PT until January-ish, December-ish of last year. With PDGM changes, I actually got let go because I was making too much money, because I was at $120,000 plus as a home health PT, which is why it took me so long to jump into travel. If you're not that high of a pay grade, it's much easier to jump into travel because you just get paid more in general. But because I was making so much as a home health therapist, also I launched my online course, Home Health Mentor, which I'll talk about later in this video. I was doing pretty well financially, then I was let go. So I was like, well, the only way to make as much money as I was making is to be a travel therapist. So what I did is I reached out to the Travel Therapy Job Opportunities Facebook group, talked to a bunch of recruiters from bigger companies, smaller companies, and my personal preference is actually working with smaller companies. My recruiter on this last contract is also the owner of the company, so very transparent, very personal service. They actually found me exactly what I was looking for in the area I was looking for. And let me back up here to let you know which area I was going to. So I was in Tampa, and I wanted a contract in Southeast Alabama. Now, there weren't that many contracts here, but they went out of their way to find me an outpatient contract that was 4 days a week. So once they found me an outpatient contract that was 4 days a week, and I liked what I saw pay package wise, we did an interview. So let me break down the pay package first on my last contract. Again, remember, This is Southeast Alabama, and this is pre-COVID. These rates will return or should be the same or higher depending on your location and what setting you work in. From what I've seen, SNFs pay the lowest, home health pays the highest. If you haven't done home health, take my home health mentor course. You know, it's $349. You get 10 CEUs and it tells you everything you need to know about home health. And also, if you're a travel company, pay me 30 grand. I'll give all your travelers free access to the course. But anyway, we'll get right into my contract and the pay package. So the pay package for this contract, which was in Eufaula, Alabama, and the reason I picked this area was I actually planned on moving to Dothan, where I am now. Eufaula is about 45 minutes away. I also picked up a PRN home health job while on this contract, so I'll get into all of that as well in case you guys have questions. So the rate that was offered after talking to the facility, the company talking to the facility, not me, I didn't talk to them yet, was $18 an hour. Usually your tax rate, you actually want to be lower, especially if you have student loan payments, because your taxable rate, you want between 18, 20-ish. You don't want to go too high, because then if you have loan payments, etc., you don't want your tax rate to be that much money, because it's going to show you are making more money, but you don't want that on paper when it comes to reporting income. You want to keep more of your money. So that's why you'll see these rates a little bit lower. Also, this was a 40-hour guarantee. I don't recommend taking any contract without a guarantee. I know 40-hour guarantees were much more common pre-COVID. Right now, you can probably still get a 32-hour guarantee, but try to get a 40-hour guarantee. The reason why I recommend guarantees is you get paid regardless of caseload. So this was a 40-hour guarantee. It was $18 an hour, $670 for housing per week, $380 for meals per week, the travel reimbursement, as I stated, the license reimbursement, the insurance. Because I took insurance, I was taking home $16.26 per week every Friday. Also, as a traveler, you get paid every Friday, and I was only working 4 days a week. So I took a little bit of a lower pay package than I desired on this contract because I was able to work Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday. So because of that, I took a little bit lower package. If I didn't get the insurance, it would have been about $17.70. However, I maxed out my insurance just for safety purposes. So on this contract, between $16.26 to $17 plus per week. And as I said, as a traveler, you get paid weekly because it's a guarantee. You're getting this every week regardless. So you know your expenses are covered. You know how much you're going to get paid. And this is tax-free money per week. This is take home. Take home per week, 4 days a week for me was $16.26 with insurance. That being said, I also did pick up a PRN home health job that I do now. And some weeks I was bringing home over $3 grand a week doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday home health. I know it's a lot of work, but I was just hustling. So that was my breakdown, and I accepted this offer. So to accept this offer, what I did was an interview. Did I Skype? You can Skype, you can do a phone interview. We actually just did a phone interview. I talked to the clinic owner, asked me my experience in outpatient. I have extensive experience in outpatient from a student and also doing some cash pay on the side. I know I didn't mention that earlier, but I've done the cash pay in CrossFit gyms for years and also just out of my house now. So due to my experience in outpatient, knowing about billing, regulation, rules, and Medicare changes, I basically was accepted after a 30-minute phone interview, and then I had about, I think, 2 weeks to get up here, to go from Tampa to up here. Again, I was using Tampa as my tax home. I actually saw the lease there, so everything was still perfect on paper. Living up here, because I plan on actually moving up here anyway, it's actually much cheaper. So even paying 2 rents, it was much cheaper. When it comes to, paying 2 rents, you want to do it as cheaply as possible. Ideally, keeping your tax home with like your parents or a roommate or somewhere you lived and work, and just paying as little as you can. You can probably funnel that money back to yourself. I'm not going to talk about that in this video, just due to tax laws and that may be illegal. I'm not sure. Reach out to Travel Tax about that question. But I had my lease in Tampa, so still on paper, and then up here, my girlfriend's in medical school up here, and also I already was accepting the PRN home health job up here, so it all worked out perfectly. I got very, very lucky with that, and coming up here, I was able to actually stay very cheaply with my girlfriend and bring my cat. When it comes to finding housing, it's much harder to find housing with a pet. I just have a cat, but still it's much harder to find housing. I got lucky that I had someone I could stay with in this area. So being a single traveler is going to be much easier, or even a couple traveling is much easier than anyone with a pet. Pet-friendly housing is much harder to find. Right now though, COVID's kind of really affecting Airbnbs. So Airbnbs actually might be the place to go right now for travel housing. I know that was a question that was asked to me. Another question that was asked to me was about the interview. Again, quick phone interview. Some do Skype, FaceTime. I actually interviewed for another travel contract a while ago, but I didn't take it because, as I said, I was getting paid so well as a home health PT, and that was a phone interview as well. Again, about 30-minute phone interview, just make sure that you're a competent person. Now, when it comes to settings you haven't worked in, I've never been in the SNF outside of maybe a field trip in PT school. However, if there was mentoring involved and other PTs there, I may take it. I have done acute care, wound care, so I'm comfortable with that. I've done outpatient, as I said, and I have a whole course teaching you how to do home health properly, billing, PDGM reimbursement. So I'm very competent in home health. So it really depends on your familiarity level. I know if you watch the other video on this YouTube channel, somewhere, I may link it, I may not, who knows. It says, can new grads do home health? And that video breaks down if I think you should do it or not. Of course, anybody that takes my course can do home health, but at the same time, make sure you know what you're getting into and you're comfortable with more medically complex patients. So I'm just going to go through some more questions here that people asked me. So we asked about the interview. They asked about finding housing. I tried to cover that. Is it a stable job? Yes. So you can't really guarantee your weeks. Hopefully that will change at some point. But as I stated, you know how much you're getting paid weekly, and that's tax-free. And as I stated, you want to get a 40-hour guarantee if you can. So on my last contract, even if I only saw patients 32 hours because of cancellations or when the COVID drop-off started to happen, I still got paid my $1,600 plus because of that guarantee. So that's what I really, really like, is that you're getting paid every Friday. I'm lucky with my home health job, that's PRN, I actually also get paid weekly. It's very, very strange. But I just got lucky being in Alabama. Everyone just pays you weekly besides this travel contract. Best way to find housing short term, right now I'd say Airbnb. Craigslist you can try, always post on Craigslist. The Travel Therapy Gypsy Nursing Group, I'll link that below as well. You can try that. Just asking in Facebook groups. Right now with COVID and everything, as I said, Airbnb may be your best bet just because they're kind of struggling. Though, for me, I was lucky I knew someone in the area. I do recommend doing your first travel contract probably by somebody you know, or doing it very, very cheaply just so you can get the hang of it. Ideally somebody you know, just to save money on rent. Reading more questions here. The interview process, as I stated, I covered that. The pay package breakdown, I covered that. So a lot of people watching this are probably thinking, well, all the money comes from the same package. Yes, all the money does come from the same pay package. Yes, your recruiter does take some of your pay package. Right now, if you need a job and you just want to go into travel therapy, again, try to get that guarantee. Yes, the license reimbursement, the travel, all of that comes from the same pay package, so you can move that money around to different areas. However, if the pay package looks fair and you have at least 2 or 3 prior travelers review it, and that seems fair to you, or you can post it in one of the Facebook groups I mentioned that have a bunch of experienced travelers review it. Just make sure you have somebody review your package so you know you're not getting fucked over. Now, I know some of the larger companies that tend to have more jobs tend to fuck people over more. How do I know this? Well, I interviewed with them before I took this other job, and they wanted me to work 5 days a week and get paid like $1,300, and this was pre-COVID. So no, don't take stuff like that. I do think that if you're a DPT, you should be paid at least $1,500, ideally more. I know prior to COVID, you could get more than I was getting paid. Again, I went to Alabama. You can go to California, Las Vegas, get $2,000 plus per week as a traveler, or you could pre-COVID. We are starting to see higher rates come back. Just again, make sure that you have other people review it. My pay package that I read to you here, I had people review, seemed fair, I accepted it. I was also trying to move to this area, so there was some compromise there on the rate I wanted, and also I took the insurance. Also, if you're gonna take a home health job, make sure you get mileage reimbursement on top of your rate. I know some places will just give you a rate that's pretty high, but make sure you get the mileage reimbursement as well if you can, just because it's gonna just give you extra money at the end of the day. Two things I forgot very quickly. I tried to film all of these in one take. Unfortunately, today it took 2 takes, but 2 things I forgot to bring up that I'll bring up now are you want to make sure that you have a cancellation notice. So you want something in there saying that if they cancel or you cancel, that you have to give 2 weeks notice, and if they cancel, they're still going to pay you for 2 weeks. Now, most of these contracts are 13 weeks. I know I didn't state that earlier, but most of them are 13 weeks. However, stuff comes up like COVID. With my last contract, we actually came to a mutual understanding of just leaving it how it was because I was actually taking a vacation during that week as well. And actually, we'll make this 3 things. What you can do is you can actually build in vacations into your contract. So my last contract actually had a built-in vacation in the middle. I put those dates into the contract, meaning I wasn't working for those 2 weeks. And it just happened that prior to that planned vacation, COVID happened. So that really didn't make sense to pay me for that anyway. However, make sure you try to get some cancellation, some insurance for yourself, because you may move across the country and then something happens like COVID, you get canceled. You want to make sure you get paid. I know there's stuff in there like an act of God clause. Some people didn't get paid with these guarantees. Hopefully though, your company is respectable. Again, have other people read it. And now the third thing or second thing I was thinking of earlier is, can you go longer than 13 weeks? Yes, you can extend your contract, I believe, up to 48 weeks, maybe a year. I'm not exactly 100% sure on that. You can correct me in the comments below, but I know you don't want to go a full year because then it becomes a new tax home. But my last contract actually was supposed to extend through August, but due to COVID, I wasn't able to extend, though I actually had the extension signed prior to the cancellation. But as I said, going on vacation, other things, COVID, and just revenue in general for the clinic that I was at, things happen. But try to make sure that you have a security guarantee of some sort, and that if you want to extend, you can build in your vacations and time off as needed as well. All right, hopefully this covered everything. Again, I'm Dr. Smith, physical therapist. Please subscribe to the channel, please share this video, and if you want me to cover any other topics or things that I do outside the therapy, please comment below.